Hey, Warrior Saints. Welcome to St. George, the birthplace of the Warrior Saint movement, where we strive to live crucifixional lives. By now, I'm sure all of you have probably heard of the great uproar that was the new Gillette razor blade commercial. And for those who don't know, there was a great uproar over the new Gillette commercial. Gillette, a company owned by Procter & Gamble, in 1989, at the Super Bowl no less, created an ad that we all know, the best a man can get. And that's been Gillette Razors' tagline for the last 20, 30 years. However, a couple of days ago, earlier this week, they came up with a new ad, the best a man can be. And this ad sparked great controversy all over the place. Many people loved it, and many people hated it. Nobody liked it. There was no in-between. It was love-hate. And the ad started as follows. And for those who haven't seen it, I'm going to tell you the ad. So here I am advertising for Gillette. But their ad starts with the word bullying. Me too, like you hear someone in the voiceover saying these words. And it pans to an image of two young boys fighting in the grass at a barbecue. And all the fathers are standing around, at the barbecue with the tongs flipping the meat, saying, boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Almost like automata. It then runs to another image of like 5 or 6 older boys chasing another boy to bully him and to beat him up. It then goes to a boardroom in a business, a boardroom, where a man who looks to be the head or the president of the company puts his hand on a woman's shoulder and says, well, I think what she really meant to say was. It then goes to 2 guys walking on the street, kind of like the construction sites, and they see a woman and they catcall at her. Then it pans to a shot of 1950s TV where the man, would goose his wife, and on and on and on. And then it says, this is how men are, but that's not how men should be. And then it shows one of the fathers at the barbecue stopping the 2 little boys from fighting. Then it pans to another father on the street holding the hand of his son who stops the bullies from beating up the smaller boy. It goes to the boardroom. It stops that. Someone stops the catcalling, and on and on. And it says, basically, the message is that this is how men are, but that's not how men have to be, and that men can be better than that. Now, fascinating about it, as I said, it caused such really a great scandal. Let's be honest. Let's not pick on Gillette. Gillette, genius, right? They're a company to make money. And so they realized, hey, let's make a big scandal, and then people will hear us, talk about us, and look at our products. And really, in fairness to Gillette Razors, to Procter & Gamble, who owns Gillette, they reached, listen to this was absolutely awesome as far as marketing and business goes. They reached 6% of America for free, right? 6% of our country saw that ad on YouTube, and they paid this many dollars to advertise. Brilliant, right? I know that like maybe half of that 6% was against it. But think about the other half. Listen to the number. As of yesterday on YouTube, how many people do you think watched that video? 22 million, right? And it cost Procter & Gamble 0 advertising dollars. I mean, as far as like marketing and advertising, I was like, that's genius. But rather than pick on them, I thought, you know what? It's an opportunity for us to really ask ourselves the question, who do we as Christians, who do we as members of St. George, who do we as warrior saints want to be teaching us about morality, about ethics, about what it really means to be a man, right? And that was really the great uproar that was out there. People were saying, who is this razor blade company to teach me what it means to be a man? And I think that's a fair question. Who do we want to teach us what it truly means to be masculine, to be a man, right? Do we want it to be a razor blade company? I mean, I think we know that the answer to that question is no. And that we would want God to be the one who guides, God to be the one who teaches, God's word to be the reference, the point that explains and teaches and tells us what it means to be a man, to be masculine, and to be Christ-like. And so with that as our background, our premise, let's talk about the Bible. In the beginning, God creates everything. We read in Genesis. In the first page of the Bible, God creates everything. And the crown jewel of his creation, the height, the pinnacle, the best part of his creation is man. Now, we often say Adam, right? We talk about Adam and Eve. But we got to be careful with that, because you know what? In Hebrew, it doesn't say that as if it was a name of a man named Adam, right? In Hebrew, the word is Adam, and it means man, not male, man, as in humankind. And in fact, in the original Hebrew text, throughout that whole chapter 1, 2, 3, which is the Adam and Eve stories, it says ha-Adam. Ha-Adam. And in Hebrew, ha, it's an article. So it's talking about the man. And God creates the man, humanity, human beings, in his image and after his likeness. That's what it tells us. So God gives us and gifts us with all of those things to be in his image, and then gives us the possibility to go and become his likeness. We're made in the image and to chase the likeness. Made this way, now go get some. And become godlike, Christ-like. Be in the image. Sorry, you are in the image. Now be in the likeness of God. And to do that, he places Adam, the man, in this beautiful paradisical state. And he says to him, do whatever you want to do. In fact, he even gives Adam creative powers. He says to the man, see all these animals and the fish and the birds and the plants and everything that I made? You get to name them. You get to bring them into existence by naming them. Just do me one favor. Just one small thing, says God to Adam. See that tree over there? Don't touch that tree. Doesn't say why, but if you do touch it, says if you do touch it, says God, you will die. You see, if you don't do what I tell you, it leads to death. If you do what I tell you, it leads to life. So just do me the one kindness. Don't touch that tree. And Adam says, okay. Now you know the story, right? We all know the story. As soon as he says, okay, what's the next verse say? There was a serpent who tempted Adam. Started with Eve. And they looked to self-propagate, to upbuild themselves, to perpetuate themselves, to preserve themselves, to bring themselves into greater and greater glory. And they did what? Disobeyed God's commandment. And we know the story. What happened after that? God kicked them out. And they returned to the earth. Now listen to this. This may be a little technical, but it's fun. In Hebrew, we already said the word Adam is man. What's the word for earth or ground, land? Avma. It's the same word. That's why man returns by disobeying God's commandment. Man, when he sins, returns to the ground. The man goes to the ground. Ha'adam goes back to ha'avma. It's by design. Because leaving God's commandment, not doing what God has asked us to be, you're not the man. You're just dust. Now, let's jump ahead a little bit. Let's go to the Gospel of John. Jesus, the Lord. He says what? I am the way, the truth, and the life. And people don't like it. And they capture him. And the Jews have him imprisoned. And they beat him and flog him and mock him and scourge him. And they put a crown of thorns on his head. And he must have been bloodied and bruised and suffering and in pain and exhausted. And Pontius Pilate, just before he is sending him to be crucified, he brings, in the Gospel of John, we hear the story, he brings Jesus out onto the platform in front of all the people. And Pilate says something unbelievable. Unbelievable, says Pilate, from a most unimaginable witness. He brings Jesus to the people on the platform, ready to die, on his way to the cross. What does Pilate say? Behold, the man. Behold, the man. Not a man, the man. And so to be the man, Christ has shown us that it is not self-perpetuating, self-propagating. It is self-sacrificing, or as we say, crucifixional. To be truly the man who was made in the image of God, but to follow after and chase the likeness of God is to be crucifixional. That's what it means. You see, the world, and this is why we have a beef with the Gillette advertisements because they're trying to tell us, the whole world is trying to tell us, go get some, get yours. Fill up your cup. Be rich with stuff of the world. Where did that get Adam and Eve? Death and back to the earth. Back to the ground. But Christ's way, the crucifixional way, where did that get Jesus? The empty tomb. Life. And not just life, life eternal, unending life. You see, the gospel message is completely contradictory to the world's message. And that's why we don't need Gillette or any other company telling us how to live our lives and to be moral and ethical, or to be how to be masculine and men. They want to tell you how to be males. God wants to tell you how to be a man, and it's different. And so let us, beloved, listen to the message of the gospel of Christ as our true guide, as the true reference, as the true word of what it means to be a man, to be masculine. It is not self-perpetuating. It is self-sacrificing. It is crucifixion. It's awesome. And interestingly enough, as funny as it seems, as backwards as it seems, as ineffective as it seems, Christ's way is indeed the only way that actually works. And you don't even need to take my word for that. Go out on the street and look at people and look at men who are trying to live the world's way. And what do you see? Adam. That's it. And where did Adam end up? In the dirt. That's it. It's easy. It's not easy. It's simple. You can see it. So we are called. God gave us all the gifts. Remember, he made us in his image. He didn't want to leave us at Adam. He wanted us to become Christ-like. And he said, go get some. But to do that, you have to live a crucifixional life. So we come to, as we do every week, the practical point for today on the way of the warrior saint. How do we do that? How do we live a crucifixional life? Men, what does it really mean to be masculine? Does it mean that we are self-propagating? We already saw where that led. No. I think we know by now it means to be self-sacrificing. And we're going to talk about self-sacrifice today in three very specific practical points. With wives and or girlfriends or spouses or fiancés, significant others, with the children, and with the church. So first, husbands, boyfriends, fiancés, some guy who's dating a nice girl. You know, when we do the sacrament of marriage in the Orthodox Church, we put crowns on people's heads. And the guy's always, even yesterday we had a wedding, puffed his chest. Look at me, I'm a king. You ain't no king. You're a martyr. It's the death of self for other. You see, husbands, we're not supposed to upbuild our wives so that they are equal with us. They're not equal with you. You are supposed to upbuild your wife so that she is above you. Treat her as your queen, not as a subordinate. She's not there to serve you. You have a crown placed on your head which signifies crucifixional in your marriage, death of self, so that you can serve her. That's what it means. Now, it doesn't mean, like you always talk about, oh, we know who wears the pants in that family. She's a strong woman. That's not what it means, right? Ladies, all of this applies to you equally as well. But what it means is that we are constantly looking to sacrifice for our brides. Constantly. Why do you stop dating just because you got married? The guy said one year, it was really funny. I said to somebody, they asked me to go to their home. I said, I can't, I have a date. They're like, Abuna, you can't have a date? I'm like, what do you mean? You're married. I said, well, yeah, I'm going out with my wife. It's not like I'm going to date some other woman. But it was a stunning moment to them that, like, I'm married, so therefore we stop dating. Are you kidding me? Do you understand? It's that all that we do, every moment and everything that we have in our minds and our hearts and our lives, everything we do is sacrificial for her, not for me. Now, ladies, here's the good part about it very quickly. You have to do the same thing at the same time. That's the real blessing of marriage, is that it's happening at the same time. But today we're talking to the fellas. It means being crucifixional. It means loving her even when she may not be lovable at that moment. It means sacrificing your time to sit and watch TV because she needs to talk and you turn it off and visit with her. It means that you work extra hard to provide and not make excuses. It means that in all things you are sacrificing your needs for her needs. The second thing is our children. Gentlemen, for those who have children and those who don't yet and someday will. You know, children are beautiful things. I'm so blessed. And I know I'm looking at all of you and your children. You're blessed. And your children are blessed. But they are not simply carriers of your name. They are not simply carriers of your Father's name. They are human beings to whom you will entrust to the world. They are your legacy. They are the product that you are going to give to the world. And that means that you have to be relentless in sacrificing yourself and your needs and your desires in order to teach them. In fact, in the Orthodox sacrament of marriage, let's go back to it. There is a prayer where we ask God to bless the husband and wife and give them many children, not just for the sake of many children, but to give them many children so that we might educate them in the faith and fear of God. You don't get kids just because you want kids. You get kids so you can teach them to love God. That's what it's about. And so fathers, teach your kids. Teach them. And sometimes that means you have to be, I'll say that all the time, it means you have to be not their friends. If you decide to be your child's friend, they lose. They have lots of friends. They go to school with a bunch of friends. But they have one mom and they have one dad. Be the father. You don't need, if your ego is so small that you need friendship from your kids, you've already lost. Teach your kids. I'm not saying be rude, I'm not saying be awful, but you're not buddies, you're their father. Teach them how to live. Teach them right from wrong. Teach them to stand up when they fall down. Teach them how to fight and ask for forgiveness, and how to fight and conquer bullies. Teach them how to live God-centered, Christ-centered, crucifixional lives. And I'm telling you, that's what they want. Forgive me again as I tell another brief story. But the greatest gift I ever got from anyone was from my daughters this last Christmas. They wrote me a card, a Christmas card, and it said, "Thank you." And it wasn't thank you for the toys or the gifts. They don't even care about that stuff. You know what they said? Both of them individually. "Thank you, Baba, for loving us and teaching us to be lions." I will never, ever get rid of that card. It's in my drawer next to my bed, and I read it almost every single day. And I'm not boasting, I'm just saying, to Theodoxa, thanks be to God that they heard and listened to the teaching that I give them. So men, be fathers, not buddies. You want a buddy? Call me. We'll go have a beer together and watch a football game. But with your kids, be fathers and teach them. And lastly, our third practical point. You know, masculine men, real men, are God-fearing men. Real men are church men. Real men are those who pray. Real men are those who give, who sacrifice their own needs, or not even needs as much as their own desires, to help perpetuate the gospel of Jesus Christ. They do so in their own lives and with their wives and with their children and with all that come in contact with them, right? It's really funny. You know, the church asks us, God actually asks us, in the Bible even, to tithe to the church. And tithing means that we should give 10% of our income back to God. All of it came from him in the first place. Give some of it back to him. And it's a small percentage. And yet we don't even do that. We're uncomfortable. But what's really fascinating about it is, and you got to ask yourself this question, do you pay more in your cable bill every month than you give to the church? Do you? My gut says that for many of you, the answer is yes. Because you're not really serious givers. We're not really, really, truly men who are seeking to be sacrificial, crucifixional, to follow Christ's way. We're looking to, I need to make sure my TV's set. Oh, you mean the gospel of Jesus Christ? We want to help that go further? I don't know. Right? And so we're more interested in preserving Netflix and Game of Thrones than we are perpetuating the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is the only salvific thing anyways. And don't smile at me, because you're all guilty of it. Everybody's looking at me like, yeah, I know, it's a good one. It's a true one. It's an uncomfortable one. But it's a real one. And so the challenge I want to put before all of you, as far as being crucifixional, gentlemen, lead your families by being a good husband, a good father, and a good churchman. Tied to the church. Today, cut that stuff out right now and go sign your pledge cards. Not right now, at the end of liturgy. Then go sign your pledge cards and be done with it. And tithe. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to allow yourself to be set free, right? To be set free from the shackles and the chains of Adam, of the things of the world, of the go get some, of get more and have money and be all this stuff. It's nothing. Adam leads to the dirt. But Christ-like living, crucifixial living, leads to life. And not just any life. Life that is unending. Life that is eternal. Life that is free from pain. Life that is free from suffering, from sickness, from sorrow. Life that is true life with Christ God. My beloved in Christ, I implore you, beg you, challenge you not to let your morality, not to let your ethos, your ethics, not to let your understanding of what it means to truly be a man, to be masculine, be defined by the TV, by the world, by advertisers. Let your true understanding of masculinity, of what it means to be a man, be defined by God himself, who showed us that the only path, that being Adam, leads to death and the dirt, but that the path of Christ, the man, leads through the cross unto life eternal. And be good husbands, and be good fathers, and be good churchmen. May our great God and Savior Jesus Christ, who showed us that the cross itself is indeed life, bless and keep you. Amen.